You guys, I am completely by myself at the office today, which is, that like never happens. Today is a paid holiday for the girls. It is July 4th, so happy July 4th. But everybody is off today. I do paid holidays for not every federal holiday, but the ones that most people celebrate, we take the day off and they get paid for it. I'm here today because I actually already had a little July 4th celebration this past weekend. Went to the lake, did some tubing, some relaxation, some volleyball. And so I don't really have anything special or extra to do today. And I thought, you know what? I am going to take advantage of the one time in a very long time that I have the office totally and completely to myself. I actually wish to have the office to myself more than what I actually do, only because there are some things that I'd really like to film that I don't get to unless I want to completely and totally interrupt what the girls are doing here and make them be quiet and not work, and that's just not reasonable. Usually when I film, I am staying late past normal working hours, and I don't love doing that. So coming in today and just enjoying the peace, the quiet, and gonna get some of the videos done and film that I don't normally get to. I have a gazillion things to get done at the office, but I'm going to tackle just a few of those today. And I'm gonna be taking you guys along with me. Real talk, I've been feeling super burnout lately. I know I've mentioned it in a couple of my videos. You guys have been so supportive and so kind, sharing your insights and giving me some tips and tricks. The best way I can describe the burnout I'm feeling is if you're someone who constantly speeds, which by the way, I am a habitual speeder. And it's not even because I'm running late anywhere. It's honestly just because I'm calculating in my head. If I go 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit, then based on the amount of time and distance I'm going and how fast I'm driving, I could probably save an extra 10 minutes on this drive. Yeah, it's more like speeding for that reason, efficiency purposes, if that makes sense. But if you're someone who is super used to speeding and then all of the sudden you either forced to, or maybe you're way ahead of schedule, so you actually drive the normal speed limit and drive slower than you're used to driving, and you're this is actually kind of nice. It's like that. I'm trying to turn down the speed limit and be okay with not speeding because I realize that it is causing just tons of stress. But it's also really hard to do when you are used to doing that all the time. The stress is definitely due to the overwhelming amount of tasks that we all have as resellers. I've also just had a lot of great opportunities come up recently from being on YouTube and being in the public eye that I'm actually really excited about, but it's also causing stress because it's putting a ton of tasks on my plate that I am not used to having. And I'm trying to find a way to navigate that. Some of the things that I've been dealing with lately are incorporating wholesale into my business, and I'm gonna show you guys some of the behind the scenes of that today. I've also been letting work time creep into my personal time, which previously is something I have preached about not doing, and the whole reason that I started reselling in the first place was to be able to separate work and personal time. And one of the major things that I've been dealing with lately that I honestly thought I would never experience this is the negativity of being on social media. I thought I was tough. I thought I could handle it. I mean, I can handle it, but it's honestly getting to me, and I never thought coming on board with this that it would get to me. With everything going on, it is so important to me to be able to talk to somebody about what's going on and help me work through my stresses. I can't always see things clearly when I'm feeling super overwhelmed. Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in this world and is going through a really difficult time, therapy can give you tools to approach life in a different way. And that's why I'm really excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible, and this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's really easy to get matched and signed up with a therapist. There is a link down below in my description. It is betterhelp.com/Cayley. Clicking that link helps support this channel, but it also gets you a 10% off of your first month of BetterHelp so that you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. If you don't really fit with that therapist, which is a common thing in therapy, you can easily switch to a therapist for free without stressing about insurance, who's in your network, or anything like that. As a reseller who goes through highs and lows depending on which season of reselling that I'm in, I can tell you that being able to connect with somebody who will listen and ask the right questions can make a huge difference. Being self-employed is tough, and talking it out is usually the refresh that I need. So if you are struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Cayley. That is BetterHelp.com/Cayley. And thank you again, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's video. So one of the things I have got to tackle today is getting my wholesale orders under control. I'm halfway through this batch, so I'm gonna pull the rest of it over and get to working on these. So when I say wholesale, what I mean is other resellers that are going to thrift stores and purchasing items for me to choose from. I choose from those items and then I pay them to package those items up and ship them to me. And one of my first and consistent that sends me a ton of stuff every single week, packages them in the most cost-effective and efficient manner, which is these packages here. They are giant poly mailers that you can buy off of Amazon. Since making a video about receiving wholesale from her and kind of just opening myself up online that I am available to purchase inventory from other resellers or people that just want to do sourcing, since then I've had a tremendous amount of people reach out. And so from that, I have learned the best way to package items. You know, I've had to walk some people through how to ship large packages to me and kind of what we're looking for. And it's just been a really cool experience, but definitely uncharted waters. And I'm still navigating everything to do with wholesaling and having someone source from me who is in another state. So just from that one wholesaler, almost every single week, we are having anywhere from 150 to 200 items sent to us. In addition to that, since that started, a lot of you guys have actually reached out to me about the death piles that you've had. And so I've had some death pile purchases. I have had people that want to start sourcing for me. Again, everyone's in another state. So I'm having to really learn how this all works, what's the best way to go about it, and so far so good. Definitely had some ups and downs, made some mistakes along the way, but it's been fantastic. If you guys don't know, most of the time I drive at least an hour away to get to a good sourcing area, so having inventory come to me has been just exceptional and taking the stress away of having to drive constantly and the pressure of having to get a certain amount of items every single week to maintain my goals. So wholesale has been awesome. However, like I said, it's kind of uncharted waters and it's been a lot of trial and error. One of the things that we just started having to do is actually create a spreadsheet just to say, just to keep track of the inquiries that we're getting so that Nikki and I can stay on the same page. It's actually been really tremendous in helping take over almost completely actually wholesaling for me and for this business. Most of the time she's handling the calls, the messages. We do Zoom calls with a lot of people in which they'll show us the item and we'll determine whether we're going to get it or not. So it's basically virtual online sourcing in a way. Think of it like a whatnot show essentially, but for sourcing. And she's been handling that, helping get the invoices to me, handling shipping and helping them learn how to ship efficiently. So that's cost effective for both of us. But although I have been involved in the process a lot. She's been taking on a lot of that work, which has been super helpful to me, but we both have to be on the same page about it because, you know, both of our hands are in wholesaling. So we created this spreadsheet, which basically keeps track of when somebody contacted me, where did they contact me at? Sometimes it's email, sometimes it's Instagram. And so even just knowing which platform to go to look for these messages has been important. So I'm looking at our spreadsheet right now, and just currently, I have roughly 15 like open inquiries right now, which is crazy. And like I said, some of them are consistent every week, some of them are not. Some of them were on like a trial basis, trying to see if it's going to work for both of us. And some are just like one-off reseller death pile buyouts. So we've got all kinds of notes on here: initial contact date, last time we contacted them, their name, are they on Instagram or email, where are they located? If you're doing Zoom calls with somebody, you're gonna have to know their time zone, which adds an extra layer to scheduling, because you have to know, are you, if people are in California, we're 3 hours ahead of them. So it's a lot. So time zone, about the number of items they have, cost of goods, got to figure out how much we're willing to pay for items. Does it match what they're willing to sell them for? And then have we actually scheduled a meeting? When is that meeting? And then lastly, what are we waiting on? Which is like the last column, which basically says, is it the ball in our court or is the ball in their court? And we've literally had to create the spreadsheet just to keep track of everything. So like I said, I've got roughly like 15 open inquiries right now. I have some people that we need to reach out to, but every time an inquiry pops up, we record it on here. There have been some disappointments where, you spend a lot of time, someone reaches out to you, you spend a lot of time trying to figure out the ins and outs of it, only for them to back out at the end, and that kind of stinks. But then there's other times where we've created really great relationships, actually made friendships with people, and really enjoy talking to them every week, and they have been a consistent source of inventory. So definitely the pros outweigh the cons. I think one of the biggest issues we've been struggling lately as far as like wholesaling goes or buying from people's death piles are flaws, condition of item and quality of items that we are getting. A major issue. Not with all, but with some, it's a big hurdle that I am trying to overcome, because someone will try to sell us an item and we'll think it's really good. We pay for the item, we pay for shipping, it comes here, we have to pay people to process all of this inventory, create a spreadsheet, price it, and to list it. By the time you do all of that, if an item ends up having a flaw that you weren't expecting, sometimes it is not worth it, just because you spent a lot of time and money up front to even get the item here in the first place. This is something we've kind of been combating and struggling with and trying to work through with some of our suppliers, and just be really upfront with them that we want the item to be checked over, and if there are any flaws, to make sure to let us know. And honestly, so far, everybody that we've talked to, if something does come up, they're really great about fixing it, give us the item for free, or a discounted rate, or they give us a free item the next time. So that's been really cool, and everybody's been really great about integrity. And then the second thing we've been dealing with is just being on the same page as our suppliers. I have a certain business model. I am super upfront when somebody wants to source for us or sell us something. I always want the ability to pick and choose which items I get, because we do have a very strict business model. We try to focus on high sell-through rates, and on top of that, our cost of goods, how much we're going to pay for something, we expect a certain amount of gross profit from that as well. And what I'm finding with a lot of people that reach out to me that want to be suppliers is that our business models and ways of sourcing are not the same. A lot of people don't like checking sell-through rate, which is huge for us. And so a lot of times people choose not to look up sell-through rates while they are sourcing for us. And then by the time we get to the point of picking or choosing the items, we might not take a lot of items. And it can be really disappointing for both us and the supplier. So it's just been, again, trial and error, new uncharted territory, trying to find something that is beneficial for both us and the people selling to us. You guys have asked a lot about wholesaling, so I thought I would take a moment in this video to just kind of talk through that. In addition to that, everything that comes in gets treated about the same as the other items that we source ourselves at thrift stores, which is they go onto a sourcing spreadsheet. So by the time they actually arrive to us, we then go through a quality check, which is what I am doing today, which is pulling the item, finding it on our spreadsheets, and then confirming that there are no flaws on it. And if there are, were the flaws noted? If they weren't, then I've got to keep a list and get a hold of my supplier, making sure that we actually receive all of the items that we are supposed to, and also that we don't get any extra items. That has happened before, and I'm always honest and upfront and let the supplier know. So inventory check and quality check. At this point, almost everything is already priced, but some things, you just can't price some things unless you actually have them in hand. Maybe you don't know the material. Maybe you want to do a little bit more research or see more of the pattern. In some cases, we're adding prices, but most of the time, by the time it gets here, it's ready to go and just needs a quality check. So I have got a little bit left of this bundle, and I am going to go ahead and finish processing this. Just kind of a fun little example of one that we got without knowing the price. It is a pair of Lilly Pulitzer shorts. We get pretty much everything Lilly Pulitzer. I know some people say it's not that great of a brand, but I tell you what, we have a lot of really great sales with Lilly Pulitzer. The one thing about this brand you do need to look up is the style number, because it can make a huge difference on pricing. So inside there is always a style number right here. It's super easy to look up. So I'm going to look up Lilly Pulitzer 25314, which is the style. And these are called the 5-inch Ocean View board shorts. Ocean pull-on shorts. I don't know, I'm saying 3 different things, but it's definitely called the Ocean short. So I am going to now go to eBay to do my comp. Lilly Pulitzer Ocean shorts, Ocean View shorts. And because these are a size extra small, I am going to make sure to look that up, because it can make a difference on pricing depending on sizing, and these are pretty small. So already I see at the top of Solds this exact pair in a different colorway that went for $30 pre-owned. So I'm going to do a little bit more research. So there was one that went for $30. It is not the colorway that I have. Most of them pre-owned, I'm seeing are going for anywhere from like $20 to $40. I think I might have a better print. Because the sell-through rate is not super high on this particular style, with it being an extra small, I am going to aim for towards the lower of the comps just to make sure that it moves. I'm going to list it for $25. So just to give you guys an idea of what a wholesale batch looks like in total, I spent approximately $1,000 on that batch. It was slightly a little more than that. And then I estimate being able to sell everything there's still like 4 items I haven't priced yet that are going to be probably pretty high quality, but rounded up probably close to $6,500. So $1,000 into about $6,500 is a pretty good deal. And I think, let me look here, my average sale price, not including some of the higher price ones that I do still need to price, is an average of about almost $37. So with those additional items that'll price, that should push it to $37, making me ever closer to raising my average sale price, which has been my goal for the last few weeks and moving forward, to get back to a $40 average sale price. And that goal is also to reduce my stress, which I'll talk about here in a second. So everything that I am doing in my business is to make things simpler, easier, and to hopefully reduce stress while making more money at the same time. So increasing my average sale price is a goal that is in line with that, because it takes the same amount of time to list one listing, whether it is a $15 item or a $40 item. And so I've really been pumping out the numbers for the last, I would say, year, focusing on quantity. And I want to get back to quality, because I don't know what it is over the last month, but I just kind of realized that, you know, the amount of profit I could have by listing a $40 item, when you include everything that I have to pay for, including employees, this office, cost of goods, supplies, and all of that stuff, is basically equivalent to listing two $25 items. So if I can essentially cut my work in half, you know, in theory, it's obviously never going to be perfect, and, you know, thinking of numbers in these simple terms never work out in the way you think they're going to. But in short terms, I'm basically trying to increase my sale price so that I can cut in half my workload. In the process of trying to cut down the amount of time that we're spending on stuff, we've been focusing on doing a lot of stuff here at the office that makes life better outside of the office, is making sure that my work life does not cut into my personal life. And I've done a lot of things over the last year to make sure that that doesn't happen. And even though I try, it still happens. At the end of the day, I am the owner of this business, so everything does fall on my shoulders. If all else fails, you know, it's on me. I recognize it, and part of it's, you know, the way I'm running my business. And so I have spent a lot of the last couple weeks just reevaluating processes and learning to delegate more. Whether you have employees or you don't have employees and you're considering maybe using like certain programs that do things for you, or getting a virtual assistant or having a family member help, you know, it doesn't always have to be an employee. I know that we can all relate to not wanting to let go of the reins. And I've been getting better and better at it. And so it's not that I don't trust people to do it, it's that I don't want to burden them. I think because I already feel so stressed by doing those, I feel like I'm going to put stress on them by giving them those tasks. But the reality is we're able to shift schedules around a little bit so that that burden can be taken on. The things that I am giving up, either in its entirety or half of it, so that I can stop working so much outside of our working hours, I already talked about having Nikki help with a lot of the wholesale sourcing. That has been huge, but I'm also receiving like a crap ton of messages, be it on emails or Instagram messages or YouTube comments. I just have it coming from everywhere, and I cannot keep up with it myself. I used to never understand when YouTubers didn't respond to their viewers' comments, because like, isn't that the point of YouTube, is to interact with your viewers? But now I kind of get it, because there's literally not enough time in the day to answer everything. So, you know, I'm dealing with questions and comments from you guys, and I love interacting with you. I'm also dealing with, you know, wholesale, and also YouTube collaboration inquiries. So the way I've kind of been navigating that is to like I said, delegate some of those tasks to other people. Marley, one of our newest gals, she has been really awesome and taking on some new like lead responsibilities here at the office. And one of the things that I'm having her do is clean up our work email every single day. She doesn't handle the ones that are from you guys, but she slides them into a folder for either Nikki or I, so that like that's all we're looking at. I also just made Nikki essentially like an advanced moderator of sorts on my YouTube channel. So she can actually go in and help answer you guys' questions and comments now. So you may be getting a reply from her, you may be getting a reply from me. That just started, and then she went on vacation, so she's not really had a chance to do that. But in the future, I am gonna have her help me with that. Finding ways in my business to let go and get some help. That way I'm not super stressed. And I'm going to start answering emails, comments, and Instagram questions right now. If anything interesting comes up, I will let you guys know. All right, so I actually do have something interesting already. I had somebody who commented, and I've actually gotten this comment a couple of times recently, and they usually come up when we're doing store reviews, because during our store or closet reviews, we talk about the overall percentage of sell-through rates, and it confuses people. Sell-through rate in general for resellers is just confusing. So let me answer this question here on this video. So there is a difference in sell-through rate in terms of when you're searching whether or not to pick up an item, and also your total like inventory sell-through rate. Those two numbers can be different, and the way that you find those numbers can be different. Also, people calculate it differently and use different time frames. So when you're hearing one person say how to find a sell-through rate, and then you hear another YouTuber talk about it, they may both be telling the truth based on how they're calculating it and what amount of time they're looking at. For me, when I look up something, I am trying to look at a 90-day sell-through rate when I'm at the thrift store, determining whether or not to pick up an item. If you guys want to know how to do that, you can essentially go to eBay or whatever platform you're on. It's most easiest on eBay because they pop the number of results there. But if I want to know if an item has a 100% sell-through rate in 90 days, which is the model that I follow, then I go to eBay, I search what the item is, and I take note of the available listings. Then I go to the solds and I take note of however many results are there. The sold results are within 90 days. eBay only shows you 90 days, so the number that you're getting is a collection of 90 days worth of sales. Say the sold number is 100 and your available was 100. To me, that is a 100% sell-through rate within 90 days. So I expect that item, as long as I list it correctly and it's priced correctly, to definitely sell within 3 months. As far as total store goes, this is a lot different. If you want to figure out your total store sell-through rate, you first need to determine which amount of time you're looking at. Most people want to look at within a month's time. So all you need to do is figure out how many items you sold in a month's time, and then divide it by your active number of listings. That should give you your total store sell-through rate. In order to do that on eBay, because eBay shows 90 days, you can go to the total amount that you sold within 90 days, divide that by 3 to get an average of a month's worth, and then divide that by your available listings. So let's say that you have 300 active listings in your eBay store, and your 90-day sold number is 90. You sold 90 items within the last 90 days. You're going to take that 90 and divide by 3 so that you can get a month's worth. That would give me 30, and then I would take 30 divided by my total active listings, which is 300. That would give me a 10% sell-through rate. If you're someone who cross-posts on multiple platforms, this is where it can get tricky, and you would want to add your month's total from, let's say, Poshmark into your eBay number. So if I had 30 sold in a month on eBay, and then on Poshmark I had another 30 sold, that would be 60 sold within a month, divided by my active number of listings, which is still 300. And that would give me a 20% total store sell-through rate in 30 days, which would be fantastic. YouTube also does this thing where if some word or something triggers their system, it will hold your comment for review. And so if you've ever commented and I didn't respond to you, it is probably because it went and held for review. I try to check this about once a month, but maybe I need to check it more because I just realized that there are like 5 comments that never got pushed through and I wasn't able to answer over the last month. So if you're someone who put a comment out and I did not answer you, I am sorry. That is probably what happened. I don't have any like special things set up for that. You can do that on YouTube. This is literally YouTube holding them, so I'm not sure what words trigger that, but they consider them likely spam. It may be because you're putting like poshmark.com, like a link, and it thinks you're trying to sell something. I don't know, but got a lot of held for review comments, and I'm gonna answer those now. So I'm checking Instagram messages. Same thing with Instagram. They also will put something into message requests. So like sometimes I'm not seeing these for weeks. And sometimes sometimes it's a good thing that they flag stuff. Like for instance, there is, I'm not going to say their name, but there is a company that I believe sells shipping supplies who just randomly created a group message with Rally Roots, myself, and a couple other creators. And I think that they're trying to like get us to sell their product, but I think it's hilarious because from what I can tell, nobody has answered in this group, but I just thought it was funny that they put us all into a group and were trying to share with us. I'm sure those other content creators were thinking like I did, like, what are these people doing messaging me and creating a group chat? Rally Roots, Travis, Marziani, and Cincinnati Picker. All 4 of us are in this group chat with this business. I posted some of my really cool vintage t-shirt finds on Instagram lately, and I actually have one of you guys reaching out about possibly purchasing it. So I'm going to respond to this question right now because if I can sell it directly, it's going to save us both a lot of money. I know it's not listed yet. If you are interested in purchasing directly, let me know and I can send you an invoice on PayPal. I can also get you measurements if you need them. Let me know. Smiley face. I hardly ever have viewer sales, so when I do get them, it's pretty cool. I know a lot of people think that everybody who's a reseller on YouTube makes like a killer amount of money in sales off of their viewers. That is simply not true. Now let's go over to the inbox and clear out some of these messages. Oh look, I have an inquiry for a bunch of people to edit my videos. Maybe I should take them up on it at some point. Hair extensions, ponytails, wigs, and tools. Is that something you guys want to see on a reseller channel? I'm thinking probably not. Yeah, last thing that I just wanted to briefly chat about that's just really been getting to me are negative comments on social media. Let me just be the first to tell you that I completely understand that when someone puts themselves online publicly, that you are subjecting yourself to potential negative comments. But the amount of ignorance and rudeness and just downright nastiness that you can receive from people online is just unwarranted. And the bigger you get, the more out of hand it gets. I still consider myself a very small channel, so I cannot even imagine the kinds of comments that people are getting who have channels way larger than mine. It is a lot to deal with, and you tell yourself over and over again not to let it get to you, but it does. It hurts sometimes. I'm still staying positive. I'm not going to let my feelings be hurt all day. But if you are someone watching this channel and you are thinking about starting a YouTube channel, I wanted to, just let you know the potential dangers that come with it, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Probably the best thing that you can do in these situations is just to ignore it, but I am not that person. I have a sickness in me where I cannot let things that are untrue be said without combating it. So if I strongly believe in something wholeheartedly, I will fight for it. And I do this because I don't want newer resellers on the channel to see these negative comments and take them as fact, because they can be really harmful. I also don't want to be a reseller who deletes comments unless they're like super offensive and out of left field and straight up bullying, harassment. I'll delete those. But if someone's just like disagreeing with me and has a different opinion than me, even if they're being rude, mean, and nasty, I believe in free speech. So I'm gonna let that comment stay on there. You're also going to see me combat the comment with what I believe to be true and in defense of what I believe is right. And yeah, I just, I can't let it go. I don't know. So some of these comments like really eat me up inside, especially when people are so miserable in their own business that they honestly believe what they're saying. They believe they can't be successful. They believe YouTubers are the problem, or buyers are the problem, or the economy is the problem. They never consider themselves the problem. And they don't realize that if they would just tweak one little thing in their business, or even just maybe their mindset, they could be successful. If you're on a channel, heck, if you're on my channel, and you know, I'm telling you, you can only do it this way, that is simply not true. If something bothers you to your core, you do not need that negativity in your life, and I strongly suggest that you cut it out. But yeah, I'm dealing with the comments. I'm trying not to let them get to me. They more so upset me for other people than they do for myself, because people can call me a fake, annoying, no personality, and being a terrible reseller all day long. And you know, for the most part, it just doesn't bother me. I laugh it off. But it is when people just say outrageous, absurd things that make no sense that it really bothers me, because I know other people are reading those comments, potentially newer resellers who are going to look at that and think, you know, that's the way it is. Lies. They're lies, I tell you. But anyways, I'm going to get off of the sob train and just say that dealing with negativity in the reseller community is something that has started to affect me, and I'm trying to combat that in ways by staying positive, interacting with all of you guys, and reminding myself every day that I could only do the best that I can. You're not going to please everybody, and to stick true to what I believe in. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this day in the life video of some things that I'm doing here at the office and kind of some roadblocks that I've been having and how I am trying to overcome them. Don't forget, if you guys are interested in trying BetterHelp, the link to all of that will be down below, as well as a discount. Hope that you guys are having a positive, uplifting day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.